Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to try a new video series I think will be pretty interesting to watch, where I review banners I found just across the internet. This first video is mostly going to be Discord focused, but as time goes along I'm going to expand this out to Twitter, YouTube, and I guess just about any other platform out there. The purpose of this is to, I guess, sort of critique and take a look at the designs that are out there, what people are using, and maybe even offer suggestions of things that could be improved or changed with that design. So without any further delay, let's jump right into this. The first one I want to start out with is one that bothers me quite a bit. So there are some assets, some banners that I make, and those banners I might feature on the channel as a speed edit, but I don't include the words template or tutorial or any sort of download with it because I'm using it for Tsuke, my server, and it's meant as a branding asset to be unique to Tsuke, and I don't want other people using it. But here's a case of where someone ripped the banner and decided to make edits to it. Let me show you the original. This is the one used in Tsuke to celebrate our 3-year anniversary. As you can see, looks pretty nice in my opinion. It's all clean, all the lines match up, and overall has a rather nice aesthetic. Though that's just me talking about my own banner, and of course I want to be pretty biased about that. Now we come to this rip. Generally, if I find something like this, I'll reach out to the server owner or a moderator and I'll mention it, and they'll typically take it down. But at this point, I've just gotten so tired of it, I figured I'm just going to mention it in the video because it'll also be a good pointer for anybody else who has plans to take Tsuke branded assets. So, first thing, this text doesn't fit at all. This dotted line, I'm not sure what you're doing with that. It just ends here, it doesn't connect all the way through. If you're gonna rip it, at least rip it properly. And also, what's all this empty space? And this character doesn't fit at all. Why is she so skinny and filling up the frame way past? Because now if you upload this, you're gonna have such a huge chunk coming out of the frame that it's not gonna be lining up properly, the whole banner is gonna be shrunk, and the text itself, really hard to read at this size. Let's compare it to the original. Text is large, it's clear. Sure, it's partially covered up, but it has the Tsuke mascot and the text pretty clearly laid out. Anyway, I hope that's a little lesson and nobody else attempts to do so. If I want people using a certain banner, I'll either upload it as a tutorial or a template. If it's not there, please do not use it. Going on. This is a design I've seen popping up quite frequently, and while it's not something I'm completely against, I think it's a weird choice to use as a general banner. So my idea of a banner that you upload in a channel or for announcements is something long, fairly thin, and acts more as a header. This is basically a full-on server banner, the feature unlocked at 15 boosts. Or it could be a server invite banner, that huge banner you see when you first join a server, or it could even just be a wallpaper. I don't understand why there's so much popularity in using such a large image as your banner, because again, this could probably be cut down to here, and then move her down a bit so her head's a bit more in frame. I'm not a huge fan at all of when characters' heads are partially cut off. And maybe around the edges, and you have a pretty nice banner. This background, I think, is really nice. The text, while I'm not a fan of the font, I think it fits pretty well. The pink could probably be, the contrast could be a bit better because the pink sort of blends in, but if you just turned it into an actual banner and just, let's say, I'll actually do a quick edit right here. Let's drop down a rectangle. Don't be a pain in the butt. Let's do a Control T. So edit this all the way across, put this down. And because I don't have the actual character, I can't edit her. But this one, I'll get rid of the stroke. I can just round the edges and bring this up, and I can just clip that on, and that is already a huge improvement. Now if you could just bring the character down, well, chef kiss, be perfect, it'd be awesome. Moving on. This is from that same server that ripped me, so I'm gonna be a little harsh on it, partially due to saltiness, but the biggest complaint with this one is they have the right format. It's long, it's thin, but why do you have orange font on top of orange hair? And this exclamation point, it's about this size when you view it in a server, and at that size, it probably looks even smaller for you, but don't use the same color font as the image behind it, especially in the case when the hair is extending so far. Because right now, it looks like user Avier, I guess, because the BEH sort of blends in, and even then the font itself, I'm not sure if it's more the font or the color, but it just doesn't stand out all that well, and I would definitely make adjustments to that. Maybe a drop shadow, though I think a drop shadow is, yeah, there is a bit of a drop shadow. Maybe something in the background, sort of a black, let's try that real quick. Can't get it behind the text, but if you do something along the lines of this, you can drop the opacity. That'll kind of help it pop a little bit. Doesn't look all that great. You could try a paintbrush stroke. That's another option. But again, this orange does not stand out really well in this scenario. Next, this one I actually like a fair bit. The font is questionable, but the overall design is actually really nice, and the way this is cut out with the flat sides and the bottom is the style I've used before. When my server was first down, I was kind of new to Photoshop. I did something similar. It's not to say it's bad, I just think it actually looks pretty decent. Only thing I would change is probably bring this little icon, it's not the icon, it's the mascot of a server, but you can resize this a bit. I can actually do it right here since it's freestanding. You can take that down a bit. Actually, let's Control J out. You can take that out, and we can do Control T, and I'm just going to scale it down just a little bit. Like here, or you can have it coming off of here. It's not going to look good back there. But something like this, because I think she's at maybe a bit too high above the actual banner, but I would leave that. But this ghost, it goes way too far above, so I would just lower it down to either the same height as the character or a bit lower. And the font itself, I probably mess around with it, but I really like the direction they took with this banner. Next, this one. So this is the size you see it at in the server, and there's a couple things you'll notice, probably the first of which is can't really read the text. If you have a light pastel background, do not pick a text color that's going to be hard to read against it. Example being white or other pastel colors. You want something that's darker, there's some contrast, you can actually read what is being said. Same down here, this is absolutely unreadable. The only purpose I can think of that being there is to act as sort of a copyright. So if somebody steals the banner, you can easily see, I guess maybe not easily, but you can see it was stolen. But actual size, which this being the actual size you see in a server, you can't read that, and the invite text itself, again, need to fix that contrast. Other than that, I think the background's pretty nice. It's simple. This palm tree looks like it was upscaled because the edges are all blurry. You can even see the pixels, they just dropped the opacity on it. But it was clearly upscaled, or they just got a bad resolution image. So that should definitely be fixed. I might add a little bit more detail to the backgrounds. Let's say a dot pattern, or let's go to blending options. A line pattern might be nice as well. Let's try pattern overlay. Increase the opacity. I think that could be nice. Yeah, I like the pattern. I think it adds a nice bit of detail to the image. And at this size, I think you can't see it. Nope, you can definitely see it, and it looks so much better already. Next one. This one, I do appreciate that people are actually using the tutorials and templates on the channel. And I think they did a pretty nice job with it. I just recommend a couple changes. First of all, there's a little too much confetti. I'll probably cut some of that out. Lasso tool is a good way to do that. This is definitely an issue I've also had, so don't take this as anything bad. I've done the same thing in the past. I just throw confetti up there, try to make it look super festive and exciting, but then I realized after uploading it, it's just a bit too much. So I would cut some of that confetti out. And again, lasso tool is a great tool to do this. You can kind of work your way around stuff and just chippity choppity and clear it up. Kind of like that. Also, I think those are the balloons I uploaded with that file, but I'm not sure. I don't remember the balloons having... Actually, I think I know what might have happened. I think they used the color replacement tool, and the color replacement tool is kind of a simple and unclean way of changing the color of something. It might have been what I recommended in the tutorial, but you just have to be careful in using it, otherwise you can see the previous colors in the edges. Let me try going over that. So in cases like this, you have to go in really close, make this super small, and make sure you just hit those spots when you're using the color replacement tool. And they do change. It will go to the pink like you want it to. You just have to be careful with a quick go over, otherwise it's going to miss those. See? Pretty much gone. There's still some messy spots, but you get the idea of how to correct that. Second change I'd make is the character. Now this is a problem I always have myself, finding a character that fits the banner nicely. So I have some examples here. This is one example. As you can see, the characters take up the entire left side of the frame. Same thing here. And the idea is the two focuses will be characters and text. When you have the character at this thinness, you can really just see too much blank space in the background. Now the idea with this design to have these little blobs and shapes in the backgrounds, which make the background a little less basic, but even then you still probably want to have the left side with a bit of a larger character. Now if you have a small character like this, you can probably cut them off to about this point here, right above the chest, and kind of expand it so it fits that size. But if you try to get too much of the body in, like even here, see, cut above the chest, and here, cut above the chest, it just helps fill the space better. So that's my recommended change for that one. Cool, next banner. So this one is one that I also like the design of, except for the fact that they used a giant banner again, just like this one. No, which one was it? This one, just like that one. It would look so much nicer if you found a way to scale the center section down into a nice workable size. So what that could be is you take this triangle, bring the size down a bit so it doesn't pop up so far at the top, maybe bring it down to, say, here. And the character, again, I'll keep it above the chest and have them really fill that section. Now just cut out all of this other space out here. Unless you're doing a server invite backgrounds or server banner backgrounds, it does, I guess, annoy me a little bit to see these huge banners all over the place, because it just doesn't make sense. That is not really a banner, that's a whole-on wallpaper at that point. If you want a wallpaper, use it as a wallpaper. If you want a banner, use a banner. I mean, I have so many templates and tutorials on my channel, and even if you don't want to use those to design a banner, it's just so simple to make one. Like, I think with 7, all I did was just draw this teeny tiny shape down here. Just a rounded rectangle, curve the edges on it, and there you go, you have your banner. It's as simple as that. If you want to get more complicated and have some wild shapes like this one right here, go wild, do that as well. Again, that would take a bit more practice, but it also looks really good. So please, please do not use wallpapers as banners, because wallpapers and banners are completely separate things. Hope you found this video entertaining. if I roasted your banner, and I did not intend to roast it. There are a few I did, and I pointed those out. But otherwise, I hope I offered some helpful advice on changes that could be made. And other than that, I hope you have an awesome day.